my July wrap up and my August TBR. So in today's video I'm going to be going through the books that I read in the month of July and then listing off the books that I plan to read in August. In July I was not productive for majority of the month. It took me a month to read my first read, but then in the last week it was the booktubeathon and I just treated that more like a readathon. As you guys know, I didn't do all of the videos. My anxiety kind of got the better of me for those, so they just didn't happen, but I did get a lot of reading done as a result. In July I read 8 books in total and 7 of those books were in the week-long booktubeathon. So the first book that I read in July, it took me about a month to read it and it was kind of mostly read in July, so I'm counting it as a July read, and that was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This took me about a month to read and I think I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, mainly because I loved the plot line, I loved all of that, but I didn't like the way the characters were written and how certain characters weren't as badass as they could have been. It kind of disappointed me in that respect. I will be continuing the series, but I don't know when I will because I don't really have much of a draw for the next book. The next book that I read in July was the first book that I read for the booktubeathon, and that was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I loved this book in the biggest way that I can love a contemporary book. I don't read much contemporary, although I did read a fair bit of it for this booktubeathon, but that's mainly because it was books that I had been putting off for ages and they're quite thin for my standards anyway, so yeah, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars purely because it was the first contemporary book that I've read in a while and it's the first one that I actually enjoyed quite a lot. The next book that I read in July was the second book that I read for the booktubeathon, and that was Ice Kissed by Amanda Hocking. This is the second book in the Canon Chronicles series, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I gave it 5 out of 5 stars purely because I just love the characters in this book. I think it's a really imaginative world and the way it all connects together and all of that is just incredible to me. I'd love to have this kind of imagination. It's incredible. I love this book and I will be reading the next one very soon. The fourth book that I read this month was History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This was an extremely painful book to read. I recommend it to a lot of people because it is really well written. I really enjoyed the writing. I just found the story really distressing and I didn't enjoy it in that respect. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars purely based on the writing and how well the characters were developed. I just didn't enjoy it so much as an actual story because it was too distressing for me. I spent the entire book from page 1 crying and it caused many anxiety attacks later that day. The next book that I read was Virgins by Diana Gabaldon. I didn't realise that only half of this book is the actual story. The other half of the book is the first few chapters of the first Outlander book. So consequently it really didn't take very long to read. I got halfway through it and went, okay, I've got halfway to go, I'll finish this tomorrow, and then it ended. I was like, okay. I really enjoyed it though. It was really good to see my favourite characters in such an almost innocent portrayal of them. They weren't as hardcore as they were in the Outlander books, and this book was a lot easier to read. So if you haven't read the Outlander series, read this first because it gives you a bit of an introduction and it's really gentle to get into it. The sixth book that I read in the month of July was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I think that's how you pronounce it. I loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I read it really quickly considering its size. I thought it would take me 2 days to read. It took me about 3 hours. It was incredible, really, really imaginative. It was very different. I think it's classified as a dystopian. It's really different from a lot of other things that I've read, and there was so many twists and turns that I was just lost. Like, I thought I knew it was going to happen and then other stuff happened, and it's just incredible. I can't wait for the second book. I will probably buy my own copy of this since this is my family friend's copy, just because I know I'll want to read it again before the next one comes out. The seventh book and the second last book that I read in the month of July was More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. I was terrified to read this book after History Is All You Left Me because I thought people are saying this is more painful than History Is All You Left Me, so I thought I was going to be a complete and utter wreck after this one. I surprisingly wasn't. I was sad and I was a bit angry at the end, but I don't know whether it's just because history killed me for feels, but I didn't cry. I actually laughed occasionally at some of the humour, very dry humour that is in this book. But yeah, there is a lot of triggers in it, so that's probably why a lot of people didn't enjoy it as much as I did. I found history a lot more painful to read, but yes, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars purely because, again, the writing was incredible, the characters were incredible, I loved them so much, and it made me have a lot of emotions towards the book. Not painful emotions, just emotions, feels, that general stuff. The last book that I read in July, and the book that I finished half an hour before the end of the booktubeathon, was Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I think I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I wasn't incredibly fazed by it. I wasn't in love with it as much as many people are. I enjoyed it to an extent. There was just some bits that I wasn't as connected with the characters as I would be in other series. There was some really good plot twists in this book that I didn't expect, or at least until it was ruined for me by someone on the last page, so I knew it was going to happen, but it was really good to see all the little clues that led up to it. So yes, 4 out of 5 stars. I will definitely continue reading the series, I just don't know when. So that's it for my July wrap up, and now I'm going to show you my August TBR. The first book that I plan to read in the month of August is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I loved the first book in the series, which was Six of Crows, and I have been pressured by a lot of my friends to read it. A lot of them are obsessed with it. Yes, I am looking at you, Lindsay and Sierra. I am finally going to read it this month. It's probably going to take me most of the month to read because it is huge, and the other one took me about a month to read, so I'm not going to have a very big TBR this month, purely because this book is so big. The second and final book that I plan to read this month is Crystal Kingdom by Amanda Hocking. This is the third book in the Canon Chronicles. I read the second book in last month, so that's earlier on in the video. I think this is the last book in the series. It's actually a lot thicker than I was expecting. The other books are a lot thinner, so I don't know whether I'll actually finish this book this month. I intend to. I want to finish the series and finally give it back to my friend because I think I've had the books for about 1.5 years now, and I kind of feel a bit bad about that. I haven't lost them, Sarah. I promise. They're still here. That's it for today's video. I will keep everyone updated on my reading progress for the month on Twitter and Goodreads mainly, and occasional updates on Bookstagram. All my links are down below, so please give me a follow. And if you want to keep seeing my videos and getting notifications for when I post new videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'm only new, so I want all of those new subscribers to help me keep going. And yeah, have a good day everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye!